You are listening to the Prosperous Law Podcast. Learn how to reduce stress, have more time, and make more money. Come on in.
I'm Greg McCollum, and I built a 7-figure criminal defense law firm. I formed Prosperous Law to show criminal defense law firm owners who are desperate for success how to grow from under $200,000 to $1 million and beyond. Hi, Greg McCollum here with another edition of the Prosperous Law Podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining in. The topic today, the question today is to grow your business. Should you do good work or spend more on marketing? You're sitting there, you want your business to grow, you want to do something to trigger more business. So should you do good work or should you spend more on marketing? And the answer comes down to where you are. If you have a ton of calls coming in, if you're in demand, then chances are it's because you're doing good work and or you're spending a ton on marketing. So really they go hand in hand. But it's so important also to think about, the customer experience here. I think that when I started doing criminal defense, and after I'd been in the DA's office for 5 years. I worked for less than a year as a public defender, which that experience was invaluable. But I went out and I opened my law practice, and I knew what I was doing. I'd probably picked a jury on 40 or 50 felony cases. I was always in court. I was always going to trial. I was always in the space and the mind space and the ability and the experience and had enough talent where I could do it. So I was a kick-ass trial lawyer. I was good, and ultimately at the end of the case, I got amazing results. And when I went to trial, I won trials. That did not give me $1 million law firm. And that would never give me $1 million law firm. And I was like a lot of people where I'd represented somebody and got a dismissal or kept them out of jail and done incredibly hard work and everything that went into getting that result. And sometimes I got that result because of stuff I'd done on the previous cases, because I'd had a case like that. I had gone to trial and gotten a good result. And so I had this ability, this iron or whatever when I was negotiating with a prosecutor, because they knew that I was fearless, that not only would I go to trial, but I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in court. I enjoyed going to trial. So I go get this great result for a client, and then something else happens, or the family member gets charged, and they call somebody else. Okay? And it's very confusing. So if you do good work, that alone will keep you from growing. And it seems so strange because, we're taught if you build a better mousetrap, that you'll do well. You'll make it. You want to improve a product, make a good product. The part I didn't understand, though, is that my product was more than just the result. And if you think about that in terms of the customer experience, the client experience, it has to be good for people to come back. It has to be special for somebody to want to recommend you. Because if they say, well, it seemed to work out in the end, I don't know what happened, but I couldn't get him on the phone, or he was late for appointments, or and a lot of this stuff is subconscious. And think about it like this. Let's say there's an Academy Award-winning movie, and this is one of the best movies of the year. Maybe it's one of the best movies of the decade. It's a movie that you love, everybody loves, and you go to the movie theater to watch it, and in that movie theater, the seats aren't comfortable. There's a spring, sticking in you or something, or it squeaks, or It needs to be reupholstered, or maybe the floor's sticky or something like that, or maybe there's the door to go into the lobby. It doesn't shut all the way, so there's light coming in. It's the same movie. It's a great movie. It's the movie that you want to experience, but the theater's bad. So what do? Well, if you know that ahead of time, you're not going to that theater. And it doesn't matter how good the movie is. So for me, it doesn't matter how great I am, okay? It doesn't matter what a fantastic lawyer I am. It's a bad theater. And so that has a tremendous effect on your business. And some of this stuff, if somebody's referring or thinking about referring, they're not even thinking about this consciously. This is subconscious. They're like, well, you could go to Greg McCollum. He's good. But or you could go to Bill Johnson or Teresa Jones, okay? Because you have there's nothing that stands out about it. So I totally missed that. I totally didn't get that. I just looked at what results am I getting. Oh, I got this result. I can't believe I got this case dropped. And that is good. And don't get me wrong, there were people that were happy, but I didn't create raving fans because, I had an uncomfortable seat in my movie theater. I didn't fix that. And that's extremely important. So if you do a good job with the client experience, will that bring in business? It'll bring in business, but it will take time because the experience in a criminal case, certainly here, our felony cases may go 2 years. They may go a year and a half. So if I bring in, 4 clients this year, this month, and they have a good experience, the experience isn't over for 2 more years. So it's a long process versus if I go buy, a barbecue sandwich or something like that, that happens all the time. And so the experience happens fast. And so the business gets quicker feedback. I have a quicker experience. I like the restaurant, the waitress or the server was nice. The soft drinks tasted good. The table was clean. I have that experience. I go there on Tuesday. I may be talking about it on Wednesday. For the law firm, it's just a long process. So it will bring in business and it will bring in repeat customers, but do you have that much time? Do you have that much time? Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You should do it, and you should focus on it. You should be aware of it, and you should put yourself in this situation of like you are the client. You know nothing about anything, and so from the time you call to the time you come in, to the time you get your first meetings, to the time we go over the case with you, all of that, you want to think about it from their perspective, that they know nothing and they're afraid. They're afraid, they're nervous, they're anxious, there are trust issues. So try to put yourself in their experience. Try to just come in your law firm and see, how does this hit you, instead of coming in thinking about, all right, I've got this to do, I've got that to do, and you don't observe it. You want to take some time to observe that. But even if you, from this moment forward, you go back to your office and you improve your process and you train everybody that works for you and you give people this incredible experience, it's going to take years, okay? It's going to take years for that to really have an effect. And also you have to counter what you've been doing wrong for years. So you have this residual effect. So 100%, should you change your customer experience? Yes, absolutely. And by change it, I mean just make it a little bit better. You don't worry about fixing the whole thing today. Just find something that you can do better. Okay? Do you give somebody a choice of something to drink when they come in? Is your conference room comfortable? Is it too hot? Those just start making incremental changes. But if you're in a situation where you need to pay the bills, and you go in and you look at your bank balance, and you look at the bills coming up, and you need to pay the rent, you need to make your lease payment, you got an insurance bill, and you don't have the money. What's going to bring in the money? Marketing. If you're in a situation where you just aren't making enough money, the fact that you have a bad customer experience is okay for now. What's the one thing that you have to do? That's where you have to hustle, market, sell. You have to be willing to meet with people when they call. You have to be on the phone with them. You have to be responsive. You have to be fast, because the cycle of conversion has accelerated so much in the modern world. If you go back in time, certainly, you call a lawyer, they're going to give you an appointment on Wednesday or Thursday, that's set. But that's all changed now. That's different. People have information at their fingertips, and they're looking, okay? Even if somebody says, well, call Greg McCollum, he helped my sister-in-law, he's great. They don't just call me. They go online. They read reviews. They look at my website. They see if I've been in the news. Then they look at some other lawyers. And they go through this whole process before they ever pick up the phone. So in terms of marketing, what you really have to do is you have to put something out there. You have to start marketing. And if your marketing consists of doing nothing more than some networking, that's all you're doing, then the good news is it's so easy for you to do a little bit more. So what should you do? Well, there's so many things that take time. Should you make a new website? Because that's what every marketer you call, you want them to do SEO, search engine optimization. You want to be at the top of Google. You want to have a good organic search result. You want to do this, you want to do that. What do they tell you? Well, you need a new website. And for us to get you up at the top of Google, we need to build a website. And you're like, okay, you need to build a website. I just did my website, say 2 years ago, but you're saying my website is obsolete, it won't rank, it won't function. And they all say this, honestly. So, well, what does that cost? Well, that costs $6,000. Well, forget that. Maybe you do need a new website, but you don't need it today. What you need today is you need the phone to ring. What's going to make the phone ring? If you start a billboard campaign, one, it's expensive, and it's not going to make the phone ring. If you start doing TV ads, that's expensive, time-consuming. That's not going to make the phone ring. If you decide you want to make a new website, fine. That's expensive. That will not make the phone ring, okay? You want to run some other kind of ad. You want to get on the radio. Okay, that's not expensive because nobody's listening to the radio, but that's not going to make the phone ring, all right? So what's going to make the phone ring? What is going to work? Well, in this day, what's going to work is you buy some Google pay-per-click ads, okay? So you set the budget and your ads run. It doesn't matter that your website isn't drawing people in. It doesn't matter that when they look at you, maybe they call somebody else because somebody else looks better, or maybe they call everybody. But that gives you the opportunity, that gives you some at-bats. So if you're sitting there thinking, I went to law school, I got this law license, I rented this office, I know what I'm doing, I'm nice to people, I'm trustworthy, I do a good job, I don't charge that much, why are people not flocking to me? Then you get that pay-per-click Google ad, okay? Now, I would recommend that you get somebody to do it for you, because you can waste a lot of money needlessly on that because chances are you don't know how to do it. It's extremely complex if you do it right. It's also cheaper to have somebody who will go in and put in negative keywords to eliminate searches for people that simply are not your customer, or not your client, the people that it's not even your practice area. So if you just go in there and you set it up yourself, it will work, but you're going to get fewer quality calls. But that's okay because you're getting some calls, you're getting some conversions. So the other thing is, the Google has so many different products now. The other thing is the LSA, the local service ads. Local service ads are good because Google has placed them at the top of the page. So when you do a search now, what you see is at the top of the page. Usually it changes a little bit, but there's 3 law firms. There are 3 lawyers at the top of the page. Those are local service ads, so those are verified by Google. And so that's a process. You have to fill out an application. You have to show them that you've got liability insurance. You have errors and omissions insurance. There are a couple other things because they have to verify that you meet certain qualifications. So that takes time. Should you get a local service ad? Probably. I think that a lot of business comes in that way. Should you do that today if you need the phone to ring, today or tomorrow because you got bills on Friday? Local service ads, that's quicker than running ads on television. That's quicker than being on the radio. That's quicker than the billboard and that sort of thing, because you want to do that. You want to do that for brand building because you want to create a brand ultimately. So a lot of your clients and customers are coming to your brand. They're coming to you because you're a known entity and you stand for quality and results. But for today, what are you going to do? You get that pay-per-click ad. You sign up for that. It's not that complicated. You can do it yourself, though I don't recommend that because I think you'll waste more money than you would spend on having somebody good do it. Now, that's a different conversation because those people can be hard to find, and a lot of the big marketing companies will roll you back into that, we need to redo your website. Well, several problems with that. One is that you don't have time to redo the website. You want people calling you. And so, but there are people out there that would do this. They're just smaller operators, people that freelancers that know how to do it. Maybe they work for a company that did it. Maybe they're starting their own business. So find one of those people. Don't sign a 12-month contract. Talk to them and say, I want to do this month to month, and this is my spend, and get somebody to do it. Because for the people that know how to do it, it's easy. They just set it up. They've done it 1,000 times. It's no big deal. Something that would take me, 40 hours to figure out, and I'd still get it wrong. They're just going to do it. So let's say they're going to charge you a percentage of your spend, which a lot of people do that, or they're going to just charge you, say, well, I'll how much do you want to spend? And you go, well, I don't know. I'm $1,000 a month. I don't know. Okay, because a click costs say $22, so $1,000. I can spare $1,000 if I want the ads up and running. So they say, well, I'm going to charge you, a percentage of that, or I'm going to charge you $500. I'll set it up. We'll start running the ads. But as your spend goes up, then my fees go up. Some people just do a flat fee. I prefer the flat fee. The person that's done it for me for years, and I've had probably at least three different people or companies do this. Now I'm like a legacy client for this person, so he doesn't charge me that much, and it doesn't matter if I'm spending $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month or $15,000 a month. He charges me the same amount, and it's all set up, and it's not something he has to look at every day. If I have a problem or an issue, I call him. But anyway, you find somebody that's going to just charge you that flat fee. and get the ads up. So now what happens is, in the way it works now, is people searching for lawyers, they're online, and they're not on Bing, they're not on DuckDuckGo, they're not on Yahoo, they're on Google. Google owns the space, and so you can buy Bing ads, which is not bad. I do that too, but I think Google has 90% of all search traffic in the world. Okay, so you're talking about Google pay-per-click. That's where it's at, and if you hate it, you hate it. Do I like it? No. Do I want to spend all this money every month and make Google richer and richer? Do I resent it? Yes. However, my return on investment, my ROI on this is between 4 and 5%, or excuse me, 4 or 5x or higher. Okay? When I look at the fees I charge, I look at what I'm spending. So I spend $10,000 on Google, and I make 50. Spend $10,000, make 50. Spend $10,000, make 70. Okay? The problem with it, for me and us, and the advantage for Google, is they figured this out, and it works. Will it go on forever? I don't think so. I think that at some point in the not too distant future, it wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody comes out with something. Maybe it's AI. I don't know what it is, but Google just goes away like Blockbuster. That would not surprise me at all. But for today's world, it works. So how else are you going to get the phone to ring? How else are you going to get calls in the door? You're sitting there. You cannot pay the bills. And the last thing you want to hear me say is, well, spend more money. You don't have the money now. But somebody has to notice you. Somebody has to know you're there. And what will get the phone to ring? What will get somebody to contact you, at least to give you an at-bat, okay? And at least to have a conversation. Now, the other part of this is you have to answer the phone. You cannot have an answering machine. It won't work. When someone calls, whether they're calling your main landline office number, whether they're calling your mobile number, whether they're calling somebody that works for you to answer the phone, when they call, somebody better answer. And that person, whether it's an answering service or somebody that works for you, or whether it's you, you have to answer the phone. If you don't answer the phone, forget it. You're wasting your money. Don't get the Google pay-per-click ads. You're just totally wasting your money. Because if you don't answer the phone, they're going to hang up. And you'll get billed for that call. You'll get billed for that click. But it's not going to work. You have got to answer the phone. So how do you do that? Well, maybe you have a trusted assistant. Maybe you have somebody else that works for you. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's you. You answer the phone, and you think, well, I don't want to answer the phone because I don't want to get in these long, drawn-out conversations with these potential F clients or these D clients, and that is all true, and that's why I have an answering service, because you call my law firm any day of the week, any time of the day. Somebody answers the phone. It's a person, and they've got the list of things they're going through, and then I get an email and a text message. And the way my law firm's set up now, I think there's 6 of us that get that when it comes in, so everybody sees it. So that filters it so that we can see what it is. It's an existing client. They just had a question. It's a practice area we don't do. It's something where somebody is saying, I'd like to get an appointment in a couple of days, or it's an emergency and it's urgent and it's a big case. So I like that filter. There's some problems with the answering service because there's a delay from the time that they get the call until the time I get the message. And I can see that because I have a call rail, call tracking. So I see this is when the call came in, and then we got this message like 7 minutes later. We got this message. I think the worst it's ever been maybe was longer than that. But the company, and I think we had like 3 or 4 or 5 different answering services, because that's another thing. But if you got to get some money, if you're in survival mode, you have to answer the phone. And if you end up talking to some people that are not going to hire you, and some people interrupt dinner, and your spouse is mad at you, this is that important. So what's the worst thing that happens? You're also going to talk to some people that go, oh, great, I want to hire you right now. Or, oh, great, can I come to your office now? Even I don't care what day it is. It's Sunday. It's Saturday. Can I come now? Yes. How long will it take? Then some money starts flowing. You've got to have money coming in the door. You can't just sit around and wish and hope for business, because that's not going to bring it in. So what's the one thing you could do is go online, figure it out, get some Google pay-per-click ads running, then later, then get the local service ad, go through the process. It may take you, I think, a couple of weeks to qualify and get that set up. Give people a good customer experience. Fix the things in your office that don't work in terms of somebody, it's hot in there, the sun shines in their eyes, or the chair's uncomfortable, or it's not private enough. Fix those things. Look at other things you can do to build your brand, and that's a whole nother podcast, is to have a brand and know what your brand is. But all those things take forever. You start working on those today, you'll go broke before you get them fixed. What's the one thing you can do? In my opinion, and nothing else works the same way with the same kind of immediacy, is the Google pay-per-click ad. Because one, they're online, they need a criminal lawyer, they're looking for a criminal lawyer, they're ready to buy, and you're in the list. You're an option. That doesn't mean everybody that clicks is going to call you. Doesn't mean everybody that you talk to is going to hire you. It's actually the other way. A lot of people are not going to call you, and people that call you are someone going to waste your time and not hire you. But the alternative is, just darkness, silence. You're paying rent. You're paying your phone bill. You're paying these bills. These bills do not stop. So what do you need to do to get something going quickly? That's what you need to do. If somebody can come up with something better, I'd like to hear it. If I'm missing something, I'd like to know it, because that's the one thing. And then all you need is a little bit of fuel, a little bit of money coming in, so you can get in a position where you're transacting business, you're getting cases, and that'll build, because somebody will see you in court with them, you do a good job, and so it all starts building. It's like the snowball rolling down the hill. You got to get in the arena, and that will get you there, just to jumpstart something. If you don't have the money to do it, don't worry about it, because you're going to get a return on investment, and you spend that money, you're going to make 3 times that money, probably 2 times that money at least, maybe 4 or 5 times that money. If you look at the lawyers who are doing well, they're all doing it. Okay. Now there's so many other things to do. We can talk about that next time. Thanks for listening. This is the Prosper at Law podcast, designed primarily for criminal defense lawyers. See you next time. If you want to know more, go to prosperatlaw.com. We show criminal defense law firm owners how to reduce stress, have more free time, and make more money. Thanks for listening.